is Andrew Tate good for the guys or not, in your opinion, and why?
I'd say absolutely not.
Okay. Why is that?
I think that the idea of masculinity and success and fulfillment that's being sold by a lot of people on the right, I think leads to the same type of spiritual wasteland that you're trying to like pull these young men out of, I would say. Like when I look at somebody like Andrew Tate, or even like for you guys, or anybody that talks about red pill stuff, it always feels like your big markers for success are how many women can you get, how much money can you make, what kind of cars do you drive. And at the end of the day, I don't know how old you guys are, but like when I think back to the things I've had in my life, like I don't like remember the third, new iPhone I got. I don't remember like when I got my new car, like how it was cool for like a week, but like there are memories that you make with other people. There are things that you achieve or accomplish in your life. For me, maybe stuff related to music, maybe stuff related to gaming when I was in esports. Like these are the standout memories that I have, but I never hear anybody in like the red pill society building towards that. It always feels like they're building towards like the most hollowed existence that you possibly could have as a man that gets like signed off by mainstream consumer society.
You've applied that a lot to me, but I've never even really talked about that. And even if I do, I want the ability to buy those things. It's not those things are going to make me happy. I just want to have the power to not be restricted by anything.
Yeah, but I guess the argument that I always make is that if you spend all of your life trying to get the capability to have everything, right? Like a man who spends his whole life on the mission, once that mission is fulfilled, he has nothing. Because your whole life you've just spent trying to get stuff, right? And you haven't worked on building relationships, building friendships, accomplishing something real. Like the best type of advice you get from red pills is at least working out. As long as you're doing it for yourself and not to impress a chick, but like because building your body means something.
So
right?
you don't think we should tell people to get money?
I don't know. I don't think that's that important. I think that there are like upgrades to your life you can make. If you're making $15,000 a year and you live with your mom and dad, yeah, you need to up your money, of course. But like if you've got a decent job, and I've seen this as a millennial, there's a lot of people from my generation who are sitting in their apartment making $140,000 a year doing work from home who fucking hate themselves. They have no friends except for the ones that they see light up on Discord. They have no hobbies except for the 4,000th game of League of Legends they play for the day. And they have like no fulfillment in their life. They have nothing. And then these are the types of people that go online like, how do I meet girls? How do I meet friends? Like, why is it that I've hit every big marker in my life, but I'm fucking miserable? And I think that void isn't being answered by anybody, I think, right now.
Would you admit, right, that life is about experiences?
Yeah, for sure.
So if I'm a guy living in this world today, wouldn't I want the best experience possible?
Absolutely.
So if I'm telling guys to be better and become better themselves and experience more things in life, I want to have the best in life. For example, the nicest cars, nicest lifestyle, because that does breed experiences. Now, I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Most guys may not get to that marker and they may be miserable on the journey. But we're just saying, look, if you live on this earth right now, how do you improve? How do you become better? Because that is the only way you can actually have purpose in life, becoming better. I
agree with you, but we're almost begging the question. Having the best experiences, the best type of life. Mm-hmm. But what are those experiences? Like, I wish we had somebody older here who was like wealthy, but like I guarantee you, if you pull like a 40, 50, 60-year-old dude, I'm 33, I'm decently wealthy, millionaire before 35, I've like got my shit together, traveled the world. Yeah. When I think back about the things that mean the most to me, it's never the new expensive computer I got. It's never the new expensive car I got to drive. It's never like it's always going to be like the experiences I've had with other people, especially people I love. So like the experience I've had with my wife, ex-girlfriends, like never like the car that I drove or like the newest cell phone I have. Like it's the memories you make with other people, I think. And to some extent, money can help you do that. But to another extent, money can help you do that. I have my family on my mom's side all came from Cuba. And I watch my Cuban family is so divided. Yeah. On one end, I've got God bless them, I love them. My parents are amazing people. I love them. They love me. But oh my God, do they run the rat race? They're in a huge house. They're both on Social Security. My dad works full time. He collects disability and retirement from the Air Force, and they're going to work till they die. They've already got like one foot in the grave, or they're walking down working full time. And like, where's the happiness in that? Whereas if I look at the other part of my Cuban family, half these people live in Hialeah. They live in these dog shit apartments that flood. Yeah, every time it fucking rains, you've got cockroaches around. But man, every Friday, Saturday, they're having these huge parties. They're having barbecues. People are going over. They don't have expensive shit. Half these motherfuckers don't have phones, but they're all having fun times. They love each other. They're having like an amazing time every weekend. They've got friends, relationships. And I look at like both of these worlds and I'm like, fuck, like, well, who's winning at the end of the day? Because on one end, I see the American dream, which is chasing the house houses, the money, the pools, the big lifestyle. And then on the other hand, I see like these like dumb Hispanic people, but like these guys are so much happier. We're like, what the fuck? And I think even you guys are clued into that to some extent, because I hear it in your rhetoric, and I know it's stripped down, this idea of like Western women and Western lifestyles. You know, they have it more figured out in these other parts of the world. And in these other parts of the world, they're not running the same race that we run in the West, where we're obsessed about getting like cars and houses and bitches.
So I'll just make one more point on this. So recently, right, I just bought a 2022 Rolls Royce Colonial truck, right?
Yeah, I saw the story, yeah.
Not to flex or anything, but like that experience there, you know what I'm gonna do? Everyone that I care about that watched me on the journey up, I'm taking it for a ride in it. And like my mom was like decided to come see it, whatever. I'm just saying, like, yes, you're right. Chasing things like material stuff is kind of dumb. However, when you understand why you're doing it, it makes sense. So for example, giving people you care about, your family, your mom, your dad, your son, whatever, giving those experiences will change your life. And also as well, let's say they get sick. My guy and I was sick a couple of years ago, right? And if I didn't have money to pay for his stuff, he'd be dead right now. So having the money, you need it no matter what. It's like breathing, bro. Without money, you can't survive. So we're just saying, look, get as much money as possible so you can help your family. But as well, you know what? Get experiences too. Traveling, meeting with people. Without money, you can't do much in this world. It's sad, but it's what it is.
I don't think the red pill is as materialistic as you're making it out to be.
It's super materialistic. But
Myron's not materialistic at all, for example.
He's opposite.
Yeah. So
I'm not even that materialistic.
I was gonna say, my thing is, I've always heard this quote, and I love to quote it. It's money doesn't buy happiness, but it's a damn good down payment. And what I mean by that is, for us, when we talk about money and becoming successful, we always say, you got to get in shape, you got to get your money up, and then you got to understand female nature so that you can become a complete package, not to get women, but so that women are a byproduct of your success, so that you project yourself in the world in a certain way. And we're really big on guys having like a purpose, because if you have a purpose, then you're gonna every purpose. You have a direction, and when you have a direction, you have a destination. When you have a destination, you have something to work towards. So my thing is, I always tell guys, your value is not determined by the amount of girls you can get. Your value is determined by how much value do you create for the world, and then the women are going to be attracted to that. So we tell guys like, yo, don't chase girls, chase success, and then the girls will follow after that, right? So that's one thing. And then like my thing also is that me, myself, I'm a hardcore minimalist. I mean, I just brought back my 2002 Honda. I don't really own anything nice except for like one Rolex that's a plain Jane. I don't spend really any money except for like in the studio and then my real estate investments. But I think it's important for guys to have the capability to have these experiences you're talking about. So I agree with you 100% that life is built upon experiences, not materialistic things. Now, for some people, those experiences are centered around material things. It depends on the person. But my thing is, I look at it like you need to have that money so that you have the capability to provide those experiences in the first place. And I know what you're saying, like with Tate and everything else like that he might not be a good example because it's hollow always telling guys get Bugattis or whatever. So I see your perspective on it. But what I would say is that if he teaches a guy how to make money, right, and that guy just needed a kick in the ass to tell him, hey, get out there, make some money, start a side hustle, etc., well, then that person could decide what they want to do with the money, because everyone makes money for different motivations. Some people do it for financial freedom. Some do it to flex. Some people do it to buy clothes or whatever it may be. And I think materialistic things in general are stupid. But if it makes them happy, even for temporary, then, hey, man, do what you want to do. But I think it's important to have that money so you have the opportunity. It's a down payment towards that happiness to some degree is my thing. But I'm a big firm believer that you make the money not for girls, but so that you can go ahead and walk away from girls if they do some bullshit. It gives you an extra air of confidence because, competence leads to accomplishments, which then leads to confidence. And that's the end product a lot of times for making the money. So I want the end product from making the money, not necessarily making the money to chase after the girls, if that makes sense.
Sure. And I guess we'll probably get into more of this in later topics.
Yeah.
If that is the case, I think that's a good message, right? The goal isn't to get certain things, it's to build yourself up to a position that those things come to you naturally. That's what you want.
That's
right?
what we say.
And it's a better way to get those things too, because then you really deserve them, you really earn them, and you're going to keep them because you're not playing stupid games to get a hold of them. I do agree with that. And I think that there are things you can spend money on to get good experiences, right? Yeah. So you guys have been a podcast for like a year and a half. Yeah. You have an amazing studio. You've had a lot of success. Like every dollar that you pour into this is a sense of fulfillment, right? You're not just buying shit to have shit, right? But you're like actively improving on something that I imagine you guys both probably feel, everybody in here probably feels really strongly about. So that's cool. I support that. I think that's a good idea. But you got to admit, when you look at like the plethora, especially around the Tate stuff, when I see all of the advertising for the Red Pill stuff, it doesn't feel like I hear about that chasing of fulfillment very much. It all feels very materialistic.
One thing Tate always says that a dork who gets rich, like money just amplifies what you have. So a dork that gets super rich, that's why Bill Gates' wife ends up leaving and having his money. Because you're just a dork with a bunch of money. It doesn't make you a better man to have a shit ton of money. You need to be a better man overall, or else you're just a rich dork and everybody looks down at you.
But then the only worry is when you're tracking the metric, like, are you a better man because you have money? Or like you were saying, do you get more money because you end up being a better man? And the second one I think is okay. There are ways you can improve yourself to improve your life to get more money. But if the goal is the money, that's always going to be the goal. And when you attain it, like, you're going to be lost.
I think foundationally, if your drive is going to be a set of money, you're going to win, because at that point, you're right. For example, we have a goal board in our rooms, at least in my room. And when I hit each goal, it's like, okay, cool, I feel happy. But then I'm like, what's next? If you hit all your goals, then what do you do? So in that sense, I get what you're saying. But if you're coming from it, you know what? I enjoy the journey to get to where I'm at. Then it makes sense.
Yeah. Another thing too is why I tell guys all the time, like, I've went on a whole huge rant on this as far as like guys like attributing their value to their notch counter getting girls, is that it's a fleeting win, because once you hit, let's say 50 girls, oh, now I need 100. Once you hit 100, now I need 200, and then you're never going to be satisfied, because you're always going to want more girls. You're like, I always say the male thirst for, sexuality from women is insatiable. You're always going to want more and more girls. So the only way that you can really satisfy that like drive to conquer is through accomplishing things and then letting women be the byproduct. Because if you're going to go ahead and chase after women, you're going to be a very angry, bitter guy, because you're going to be chicks are fickle and flaky from the rip. That's just how they are. They're emotionally erratic creatures. So I always tell guys, you go after the success, because at least that's in your control. And then the girls are going to come after. I always use Drake as an example, right? So when Drake comes here to Miami, right?
Drake.
What he'll do is he'll have a party, right? And he'll have like 50 to 100 girls show up, and he doesn't pay none of them attention, even though all of them are trying to go talk to him, right? And that's a perfect example, right? Obviously, like on a higher scale, right? But my thing is, I want guys to have that mindset where you're so successful that your work speaks for itself, and then girls want to get to come and meet you because he's already created value to the world, and the byproduct of that is the women naturally come to him. So I want guys to strive to be at that level, whether you're the top guy at your firm, you're the top guy on YouTube, you're the top guy in your office, whatever it may be. Like if you look at like sales, right? Like people that work in sales, a lot of times the top salesman guy gets a bunch of the chicks, and it comes from like women naturally being attracted to dominance hierarchy. So my thing is, be the best guy that you can be, and then the women are going to come as a part of that. But when you chase after ass all day, which a lot of guys do, that's where you get that hollowed out feeling that you're talking about, which I agree with. And I've said that explicitly many times. You got to become the best version of yourself, and that comes from going to the gym, making money, and then becoming that guy. Because the other thing too that Sneako was saying, as far as like, these guys that are like losers that make money quickly, maybe they just, hedged on a good ass coin and then they made the money and they blew up.
Dorks.
They didn't learn. They didn't get the discipline,
the hardship of getting it.
Yeah, and they didn't go through the the trials and errors of like becoming that guy. Like anyone ever play Pokemon? You do the fucking rare candy trick where you get like 99 rare candy, and you take 2 Pokemon. You take one that's a level like 5, another one level 5. You train one by going to the Elite Four multiple times, having him get his ass whooped or whatever it may be, and leveling up. And then you take the other Pokemon, you just give him rare candies to level 100. That Pokemon that you give the rare candy to, he's going to be weak as fuck. His attack is going to be weak. His defense is going to be weak. His special is going to be weak.
Dex.
It's going to be terrible when you look at him. But when you go to the other Pokemon that actually went through the fights and fought the Elite Four 120 times, his stats are going to be way better. So that's kind of what it's like with like fast money leads to slow problems. But if you get the money in a way where you had to build yourself up, then you're somebody. This is why women right? There's so many trust fund babies here in Miami, and I'm sure you guys know this.
Holy shit. I will say that because my wife wanted to move to Miami and she wanted to be down here. And I've never seen so many, I was talking to Sneako about this, but I might not see the same crowds of people, but I see so many people and I'm like, what do you guys do for work? They're like, oh, never. I was like, we're in South Beach. This place is fucking expensive. Okay.
Yeah.
Like 1 bedroom apartment is like $5,000 a month. What do you mean you don't fucking work?
I
like,
know
oh,
that.
and I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody here is coming from money.
Yeah, the New York money or South American money. So like those people, right? Like perfect example. Like I can't tell you how many girls have come on this pod and like deal with those guys, right? And they just tolerate them because they have money, because they didn't go through the work to become a man to make that money. So those guys are not like inherently attractive to them. They're just tolerating them because they have money. Versus a guy that made the money, he becomes a fucking somebody. That guy had to learn certain characteristics and had to build character to make that money. That's what's attractive. I've always said it. Women aren't attracted to money. They're attracted to the characteristics it takes to make a lot of money.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why, and I'm only bringing up things you said, not to rag on you, but I don't know how much like trickles down from everything else. But like, this is one of the reasons why I rag on like the crypto bros so much. Like there are people that build businesses, provide a value service to the world, or even build YouTube channels. Yours is really good. You've done a really good job of that. And like, I respect that. But I don't want to hear financial advice from some fucking loser that bought like some shit coin and made like $2 million.
I'm not
you
even
got
a
lucky.
crypto, bro.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not. No, you do good content. You do. You've made your shit. Like you've proven yourself even from an early age. But like, yeah, like hearing some like 21-year-old like crypto millionaire is like, oh, I'm going to tell you what the future of Web3 is. Like, bro, you don't know fucking anything about anything.
Yeah.
Okay. You put 3 weeks of allowance on some bullshit doggy
lucky.
coin, and somehow you're a millionaire today. Like you're going to lose that shit in 2 weeks, and it always happens too. Yeah.
And then the test is like, if you took that person's money now, would they be able to make it back?
No.
And that's there you go. That's the litmus test.
Because the question that they'll always, do you guys say your age?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Okay, I think we agree on this. If you could go back to being 20 and you could either have all your money now or all your knowledge now, what would you have?
I would take the knowledge.
Yeah, without even a second thought. But if you
even.
take a crypto millionaire and you go back 5 years, you have the money or the knowledge. Well, they didn't fucking learn anything, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're literally thinking like, well, what can I predict the future? It's like, what did you learn investing in some coin? Like, you're not reading white papers, okay? You don't even know how the fucking technology works.
Yeah,
dude.
and I have crypto too, so it's like I definitely understand how people can like pump a coin or whatever and get lucky. It is what it is. But like, I would definitely take the knowledge of how to make money
for sure
over getting lucky and getting the money. So
Destiny, do you believe in the hero's journey?
Like the Greek archetype or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it's a story, and to some extent it's applicable to our lives. Yeah, of course.
So to me, from what I see Andrew doing, he's giving you the hero story. He's been through hardship. He was poor, not successful. He worked his way up. He's saying, you know what? If I can do it, on some level, you can too as well. Would you agree on that or no?
I say that. He always disagrees. I said, everybody can get rich now, and he doesn't like that.
Here's the problem, okay? With these guys, okay? These guys are on the Titanic, and there's one lifeboat that can hold 400 people. And there's 10,000 people on the deck. And they're like, everybody can get in this boat. That's not true. Anybody could get in the boat, but not all 10,000 of them are getting in. Okay. When you've got like a podcast where guys are talking about, here's how you become a millionaire doing this or that or that. Yeah, maybe there's like some percentage of your audience could do it, but 98% of these guys are going to fail. And everybody knows that from the dawn of any multi-level marketing, any online type of advertising, any like encouragement to like get rich doing these things. Like these goals are for 98% of people totally unattainable. Can anybody do it? Probably. Can everybody do it? Absolutely not.
Would you agree though, that if I work on myself every day for the rest of my life, I will improve on some level?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what we're saying here on the podcast. We want guys to improve. You may not become a multimillionaire per se, but you can do the best that you can do.
For
example, maybe top guys for sales in your area. Maybe like, you're the guy that has like the most, like, I want to say, influence in your society. We're just saying like, as a guy, if you can improve every single day, you win, because on that level, you have purpose, you have drive, and people see you as, the top G in that sense.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, because if you shoot for the stars, and you fall a little bit short, you're still up high. So that's what it comes down to.
Do you think you've been blindsided a little bit by just seeing like the Bugatti and seeing TikToks and stuff like that?
Well, but that's always like the thing is, that's always like the pull-in, and I think that's what a lot of the people are after. Because when people start evaluating if they're successful or not, and I'm going to be honest, it happens even in my audience, right? I'll say like, hey guys, like we should think about these political issues like this or that. Some people will just bite like a political opinion and they don't actually copy any of the underlying thought process. So I'm like, well, fuck, like now I'm kind of disappointed.
Isn't that exactly what happened to you with the red pill space?
No, what do you mean?
Like, don't you think you just took the bite-sized little...
Well, no. What I'm saying is I think a lot of people take the bite-sized stuff. Because like I said, and I admitted at the beginning, and I'll say it again, I think there's a lot of stuff that red pill people do get right? I think that a lot of people on the left, for whatever dumb fucking reason, are really scared of self-improvement. Like I'm reading articles from the New York Times saying that like, workout culture has been taken over by the right. Why the fuck is that the case? Why the fuck would the right have a monopoly on improving your body? What a stupid thing. Meanwhile, I go to the left and I'm seeing like health at every size shit. I'm like, oh, well, that's why. Fuck me, I guess, So yeah, I mean, like there are things on the red pill that they acknowledge that are true.
Yeah, you're going to come to the good side eventually. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a quote, just because one side errs too far, does it really follow that the other side couldn't be erring too far as well? And that's kind of how I view it. Like the left has fucking ran away for sure, but that doesn't mean that the right has the correct answer on everything.
So you're in the middle.
I'm definitely on the left, more on the left.
Okay.
So I'll say center left. I'll give you that. Okay.
All right.
If I reach really far, I can touch the middle. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and we talked about body positivity before too. I mean, that's one thing that I have, like, I've made girls like literally get very mad or cry or whatever on the panel. Like, I genuinely wholeheartedly believe if you're fat, it's your fucking fault and you deserve zero sympathy, because at the end of the day, as a human being, especially in a first world country like the United States, you control every morsel of food that goes into your mouth. Controlling calories and going to the gym is not that difficult. If you can you can build a pretty damn good physique going to the gym only 3 times per week for about an hour and a half. And people will waste that time playing video games or eating shitty ass food or doing a bunch of bullshit on their phone, scrolling through TikTok. So like obesity is just something that's unacceptable. But yes, I agree with you. Like that's like considered like on the left, they're like, oh, body positivity, accept you at any size, love your curves. But with the conservatives, they tend to be like, well, being fat is not correct because conservatives tend to be a little bit more based in reality. Does that mean that, are all conservatives right? No. But that's one thing I agree with you, that the left is definitely on some bullshit with this body positivity, which I think is cancer.
Well, and then like the thing, and I'll push back a little. The thing is that like the core of that messaging is correct. You can, just because you're fat doesn't mean you can't try to improve your health in some ways, because something that'll happen sometimes is once somebody gets a little fat, they'll just lose it. They're like, fuck it. Like, I'm in the overweight, I'm obese, I'm going to eat whatever. I'm not going to exercise. My life's over to me. No, like, you should love your body. And that should be the big drive to improve it. Even if you are overweight, you can still love yourself. You don't have to hate yourself. And that should be like the big drive that's pushing you back towards being a healthy person. But somehow, somewhere along the way, that got convoluted or warped into, well, you're healthy and you love yourself, and we can't be having any problems with ourselves if we love ourselves. So if you love yourself, nothing can be wrong with you. Therefore, you're perfect the way you are, and then don't work on anything. So that's always the issue, is that like, and that's what's happened with so many of these left-leaning narratives, is that they start off, I guess, kind of like the right ones, where like the central idea, I think, is good. Like, if we talk about like BLM, or we talk about like black issues in the United States, there is truth that things like slavery or Jim Crow fuck with the position of black people today.
Yeah,
but those reasons for why people are in the areas they are suddenly become justifications or rationalizations to never improve anything.
Agreed.
And yeah, now the explainer for why you are where you are has become the handicap or the crutch that's preventing you from succeeding. And that's the thing that drives me fucking crazy.
Agreed. I mean, we 100%, like, we talk about this all the time. Like, the victim mindset is extremely strong in the black communities. They continuously complain and cry about laws that don't necessarily affect them right now. And honestly, they might be not even in a situation where their family wasn't negatively affected by it, but they will sit there and be like, I need reparations or whatever it may be. And my thing is like, how is it that foreigners come to this country that don't even speak the language, don't have an education, are able to come here and build a business or make six figures or whatever it may be, or rise up the ranks faster than people that are born here, raised here, have an American citizenship, and speak the language and have all the opportunities? There's people that, as you guys know, I don't know if you know, Destiny, I was an agent for Homeland Security Investigations, and one of the crimes I investigated was human smuggling. And I would see people dying trying to come into the United States all the time from all different parts of the world, dying from, getting left in the brush, in the desert, getting crammed in vehicles, dying from heat exhaustion. I mean, in San Antonio, about a month ago, they recovered like 50 aliens that died in the back of a truck. So seeing that with my own two eyes, seeing dead children, dead families, etc., coming here, struggling to try to get a better life, I have zero excuse for anyone that make excuses about systemic racism or whatever, whether it's black, Chinese, green, I don't give a fuck. If you're in the United States and you're poor, it's your fucking fault. It really is, because this is the land of opportunity.
And this is something that, so I'll throw on both sides here. It'll piss me off on the left, because like, if you want to find some of the most anti-immigrant or sometimes racist people in the United States, it's going to be from those newer immigrant communities, because these are the guys that are coming over, they're busting their ass, they're working as hard as they can, and they don't make excuses for anything.
They don't.
But then I'll see it on the right where conservatives will utter this shit. We're like, I don't want these lazy fucking Mexicans coming to my country, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, are you serious?
Yeah,
like, go
really
drive anywhere in the fucking summer and look who's on the roofs, like putting everything up. Like, look who's out there busting their ass, driving, getting where, however the fuck they can do it. Like, some of these people can't even fucking read. Yeah. And they're showing up working like 12-hour days. Like, you can't call these people lazy. They're not. They work harder than any other motherfucker. That's why they're taking your jobs.
Yeah, at my old job, right? It was a tech company as well. I had a guy, one of my best friends on the team, Mexican, right? Me and him worked overtime. We did the most hours in the office. We started making more than our boss. And you know what it was? It was drive. Both immigrants want to be successful. Hey, you know what? Everyone's like, you know what? Let's go get a beer. Let's go drink. Let's go party after work. We're like, bro, we need to make money, bro. Like, we're not going to be here 40 years plus. They were like, you know what? We'll get a retirement. We'll get a pension, whatever. We'll get like retirement, whatever. I'm like, bro, we're here to make money and be successful. So we worked harder than everybody else. And we're immigrants. So it's like, it just depends on your mindset, bro.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't just the black community. This is any community where they're making excuses for where they're, it tends to, if people have been here for generations, a lot of times they'll just like not value the opportunity that they have living in the United States. Whereas like people will like fucking try to die to get here. Even people from first world countries try to come here. You know how many Canadians sneak into the United States to try to get opportunities here or overstay their visas, especially here in fucking Miami, to get opportunities? Like, even people from first world countries that want to be here in the United States. So I look at it like, if you piss that away, man, and you're poor, no fucking excuse. Just like with fat people, if you're broke or you're fat, it's always your fault. Because I know someone that probably has one arm that wishes he could fucking go to the gym and train. And I know someone else that's in a third world country that would kill somebody to be able to come in here. Meanwhile, your dumbass is sitting there whacking off, watching porn all day, wondering why you're a fat fucking loser.
You know what it is? Comfort. Yeah, and convenence, honestly.
So Dusty, I want to know, like, where do you?
I was going to say real quick on that, because
sure.
Oh my god, and then you go. Sorry, there are this kills me the most. Being 33 years old, when I hear somebody who's 19 or 20, they tell me their life is over and they're hopeless. I'm like, dude, I would.
Those are left-leaning people.
No, there's a lot of people, a lot of lost people. I'm like, bro, you're 20 years old. You haven't even started to live yet. You can do anything. Like the whole world is in front of you. Or when you see people, even people that are overweight, like if you are a healthy individual, if you can get out of bed on your own support, you don't have a wheelchair in it, you're already in an amazing starting spot. You can be a dude that's 5'11" and you weigh 280, 290, 300 pounds. That starting spot, assuming you're healthy, no chronic conditions, you're still in an amazing place to start. Absolutely. You have such an amazing road ahead of you if you just like put in a little bit of work. And on the second thing, just as like a self-improvement thing, you have no idea how much time you have in the day. You shit away so much time looking at your phone, do whatever. Yeah. If you block out just fucking 30 minutes or 1 hour, you could become like a world expert at anything in like 1 year. It could be an instrument, it could be fucking gym, it could be whatever. Just 60 minutes a day is an unimaginable amount of time.
You haven't said any of this in our debates. I'm wondering where you draw the line between being complacent and like toxic hustle culture. Because I've always said like anyone can get rich. And like, well, it's hard for people. Not everybody has the same circumstances. And left-leaning people make a lot of excuses for the reason they encourage complacency way more than people on the right. So I'm wondering where you stand on that.
Okay, so you analyze on the very highest level. When I'm analyzing things, I'm the most progressive motherfucker in the world. We need to talk about systems. We need to talk about like the structures of racism, oppression, like things that affect wide groups of people, because these systems are real. They do affect people. But if you get me down to an individual, I'm talking one-on-one to somebody, I'm the most like libertarian anarcho person in the world. Nobody's going to do shit for you. You're the only one that cares about yourself. You need to do whatever the fuck you can to improve your position, because nobody else is going to care about you like you do.
So are you left-leaning just because you're a streamer?
No, it's just there's a different level. First of all, I'm already banned for not being left-leaning enough. So nice try. Okay. Secondly, I've got the perfect story for being a fucking conservative. Okay. Lived on my own since I was basically 17. Okay, self-made fucking millionaire, self-made. Nobody in my family helped for shit. Okay, so I got a good conservative story if I wanted to be. But no, I just think the problem is that people on the right won't acknowledge like real issues that exist, right? People on the right will say some stupid shit like, yeah, I think family is really important. And, you know, like my grandpa, my great grandpa and shit, like, you know, the contributions they made to my parents, that really helped me in life. And then they'll turn around and say some shit like, I don't think Jim Crow matters. That was in the 60s. It's like, bro, this family doesn't have a fucking house because they weren't allowed to live in this part of the city.
But we aren't saying that.
That's fine if you don't say that.
What people in the red pill space are saying that?
I'm not saying it exactly, but I'm saying that there are truths on both sides that have to be, you have to take them together and synergize them to get a good view of the world. If you just look at everybody as you haven't accomplished this, you're a fucking failure. And then you come on the left over here and you say like, oh, well, nothing is your fault. You have no responsibility. Both sides of these.
He acknowledges the inadequacies.
Yeah, they're missing a crucial side of the story.
I see what he's saying.
Like,
it's not an excuse, but you acknowledge it.
Yeah, you acknowledge it so that you can overcome it. Yeah. That's the point. But like, here's something I'll say, right? A middle class person, and I don't mean to come down on anybody here, but like, if you were born middle class and you're middle class your whole life, you didn't accomplish shit. You showed up to life every day and you did fine. You went to school, you went to college, and you got a job. And that's great. But those same people that started, middle class and ended up middle class will look at people that are lower class, and these people will stay lower class and they'll look down on them. And it's like, wait, hold on. You didn't improve your lot in life at all. You stayed the same the whole fucking time. Why would you look down at a guy, you know, who's making $24K a year, who came from a family of people making $24K a year? It's not like you're a millionaire now, and you had every right to be, right? Because if you were born middle class in America, in the United States of America, the fucking world is at your fingertips, right? There are people that are 14 becoming YouTube stars. There are people that are learning computer programming, all sorts of shit, right? You shut up every day and you're going to make fun of the guy beneath you who didn't have half the opportunities you did. That's the issue that I have when I talk about on the right.
That's a disagreement with the conservatives. But what is your overall disagreement with the red pill space? Because the only thing you brought up was the materialism, and we kind of, you know, showed that.
I think it's the materialism, and I think it's the hyperfixation on the individual sometimes, without acknowledging that, like, yeah, there are structures that like fuck with people that are going to make it harder. And I think there's a fine line to balance it. Not all red people are as bad as all other red pill people. Like, I've seen some that are okay. Assuming, Myron, your positions are as you say they are, I'll probably agree with you on quite a bit. But then there are other people that are true. Yeah, I'd drive a $40,000 car that I like, and I don't want to buy it anymore.
My thing is like $2,000, if that. Sure, I mean, I brought my car back because I had it in college. I drove it across the country when I was an agent. I drove it from Connecticut to Georgia, from Georgia to Texas, then back to Florida, and it keeps me grounded. It has good memories, and I will never get rid of it. And my thing is like, I'm really big into real estate. Take all my earned income and dump it into that. So that's what like makes me happy, like building like kind of like an empire, real estate empire. So for me, it's like not really the materialism. It's just that I'm accruing money so that I can help my family in times of need. Like, we had some stuff going on. I pay all my parents' bills and take care of them as well. So or a majority of their main bills. But I think that's the most important thing. And that goes back to what you were saying as far as like experiences and being able to help the people that you love versus like, I'm just going to spend my money like a retard on stupid shit. But if that makes you happy, right? It is what it is. I think a lot of people at some point, once they buy enough materialistic things, they start to get tired of it.
Yeah.
And it'll help them at least realize, okay, this is not what I wanted. And then that might drive them to go ahead and formulate those relationships or create those experiences, or maybe that materialistic stuff help them create an experience. Everyone is different, but I'm a firm believer that money does not buy happiness, but it really is a good down payment.
I think we're pushing more so than anything else to freedom, because freedom means, for example, you have the power to make change. If I just say that's all day, right? I do my job, I'm the same. I could talk about change, I could want change. I can't really do much. If I have money now, I can actually make a change either in my life or other people's lives. We're just saying, look, if you're going to be on this earth, at least have the capability to make a change.
Yeah, 100%. If money, I mean, it's like money's not everything, but not having it is. Right? Yeah. If you're broke as fuck.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's the only thing
and this
to
is
think
why.
of.
Yeah. And it's hard to flip the switch on this because I was a carpet cleaner before I got into streaming, and my life was falling apart, behind on my house payments. Girlfriend was pregnant. And I got fired from my casino job, working as a carpet cleaner, and everything is fucked. Oh. And in that position, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Hearing people say shit like, "Oh, money isn't everything." Money's like, motherfucker, money would solve like 80% of my problems. Okay, fuck you. All right, money is everything when you don't have it. Yeah. And I empathize with that position. But something that you don't learn it until you're on the other side is there are a lot of, and you guys should see this if you're in this, I'll say this medium, right? There are a lot of people with a lot of money that are fucking miserable. Yeah, and that's wild to 100%. See. I would have thought that was impossible. And I know so many influencers, so much talent, so many Instagram girls, like, damn, dude, you must be doing crazy shit, fucking like mad, like you got to have the best life, and they're fucking miserable. A lot of these people aren't even fucking as much as you think they would be.
Hold on,
and I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, go.
On the other end, I know many people with money that are very happy and successful.
There are probably, they're there.
So it's all about the mindset. Because, like, for example, right? Dude, you know what makes me really happy? Being able to say, you know what? My mom is retired in her own house, in her own car. That for me makes me happy. So what I do after that, buying cars, doing stupid shit, that's because I want to. But having that capability to do that made me super happy. We're just saying, look, at the end of the day, you have freedom to do whatever you want. And people are happy regardless. It's a mindset. I can be poor happy or rich happy. It's a mindset. So if you had a choice to make, would you be poor happy or rich happy? Me rich happy all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I can agree. I think so. I would say that the comparison might be like fighting, right? You're probably not going to be a good fighter if you don't spend any time in the gym. But going to the gym all fucking day isn't going to make you a good fighter, right? It's two totally separate things that you have to work on. So like getting your money up, making yourself a better person, that's good. I just feel like I don't hear enough people talk about the other side of like, and maybe you guys do, and I just miss it because I don't watch much of anything.
You see the TikToks, and then you would assume a lot of stuff.
People just don't talk about that building the life fulfillment part as much. It just feels like it's always the focus on.
That's why we're so big on like having a purpose and like creating something. You know, I think with men, if you depression really hits and you get sad when you're not like building towards something and building something. I remember when I was on the job with law enforcement. One of the biggest ways that guys die, besides like getting shot at for being complacent, was after they retired from the job. It's a very stressful job, but it keeps you on your toes, etc. They don't have anything to live for anymore, and a lot of times they die a few years after retiring. And that, I think, that kind of plays into the man's innate need to be able to create something or having some kind of purpose. And that's why I'm so big on not chasing girls, because it's a fleeting purpose. You're never going to feel accomplished doing it. Versus if you can, create a dent and change someone's life or help people out or create value to the world. That's going to be way more fulfilling. Then the bitches come after that.
Yeah. So I will say I got to commend Destiny. You're definitely more open-minded than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff. Yeah. I've seen a lot of sides of a lot of things. So yeah.
Well, I already knew because I watched this content before. I was prepared. I already knew we were going to grab most of the stuff.
The part with Sneako, we talked about your daughter. But yeah, we'll come out to that.
What did I say?
No. Was it? I forgot who it was.
I didn't talk about that.
No. The question was brought up.
Would you let your daughter date somebody? Yeah.
That shit had me dying.
What did I answer about that? I said yes.
You said yes.
You said yes after a long pause. You were like, yes.
Would you? I don't want to be the only one answering that question.
We answered it, remember? Yes.
Yeah, better than having a weak man. I'd rather have like a strong man who could provide.
But I think the long pause was the issue.
I should answer quicker.
I mean, if you're on
the pause is good. It shows thoughtfulness, reflectfulness. That's good. Don't listen to these fucking guys.